Hi, guys. Given the fact that it's spooky season, let's continue with our strange and unusual with all that's dark in Indiana. Shall we? Our first story comes from Mishawaka um, with Mr. William Ulrich, the Indiana Dandy. So, our first story, we're talking about the Dandy in the Deep. Mr. William Ulrich, who was a bit of a colorful, dandy, eccentric type of guy. Flamboyant, well-traveled. He loved his adult beverages of choice, the high lifestyle, uh, gambling, especially cards. He loved his clothes. He loved his books. He supported his mom with her high lifestyle until she passed away. Well, during the 1870s, Mr. Ulrich contracted tuberculosis, um, and he was ill for some time. And of course, he had a conversation with his doctor about his wishes for his burial. So, Mr. Ulrich had a grave dug um, for about the size of a room, and he had a cabinet was to be put in the grave with all of his clothes, his adult beverages of choice, his books, and of course his playing cards. Um, I guess he thought, I can take it with me. I'm that rich. Um, and the playing cards, well, maybe some other occupants would like to gamble and party in the next life. So um, the stone had no the grave has no marker, just a slab, because he didn't want a stone to mark his burial. um but another thing that he required be in his room was his favorite rocking chair, in which Mr. Ulrich, under his conditions, he was to be buried sitting up. So that's the story of the Indiana Dandy. Mr. Ulrich had also commissioned a very expensive monument to be created, um, and had the city commission it. He also requested that there be a big brass band accompany his remains to his final journey. Of course, he did not leave the proper funds, so Mr. Ulrich was simply buried according to his wishes, with the exception of the monument. Um, the stone would have taken far too much expense to be created and then shipped from out of state to Mishawaka. Of course, 1870s at the time, no, no cars or trucks or any of that. Um, and there was not enough funds to have the big brass band that he had requested. So his body was accompanied, simply set in his rocking chair with his adult beverage of choice and his playing cards in his room, as per his request. Next, we move on to the story of Aurora Shuck. Aurora was born in Cuba in 1927, when she immigrated to the U.S. as a teenager. She then met her future husband, Raymond Shuck, and they moved to a small town in Indiana known as Aurora. Can't speak. They owned and ran their own heating plumbing business. Raymond had it up and running for a total of 50 years. And Aurora was very loved and popular within the community. She was seen driving the car all over town. They traveled and did road trips in the car to Michigan and Ohio and all of that type of thing. She loved her 1976 red Cadillac, to the point where, sadly, when Aurora received the news from her doctor that she had cancer, she began to drive the car less and less. Then it might have started as some kind of a joke. The request by her to be buried with her car. Of course, which in 1989, when she did pass away, sadly, this did become a reality. Her husband met with the cemetery, because you have to remove any dangerous auto parts such as the gas tank and any of those parts from the car. He had to purchase 14 plots in the cemetery in order to accommodate the car that was 27 feet. A construction company had to use 10 yards of concrete in order to build the vault for the car. And when she passed, there was a small ceremony. The car was lowered into the vault, and then her casket was placed on top. They couldn't buy any other plots, so when Raymond passed in 2002, he had to be cremated and had his ashes buried, and then covered up when he passed away. Um, well, of course, you have the pictures, but only in Indiana. And for the last story, it takes us to Clinton County, Indiana. The story that I was told while at a Halloween festival there with Sammy Terry. Y'all know I love my Sammy Terry. Where we were going around and taking a tour around the town square, and used the police officers volunteered their time and used accounts of actual police reports. Now, one of the things was the story of the Clinton County Courthouse, which is, of course, located there in Frankfort, Indiana. And the story that we were told by one of the prosecutors, actually, was that during the construction, which started in 1882, and the courthouse took 2 years to build, but during the construction, one of the construction workers, while working with the concrete, had fallen into the concrete, and they were unable to retrieve the body. So basically, he is encased in concrete in the corners of one of the courthouses. Now, again, this was what the actual prosecutor had told us, and I had been to the courthouse for different things several times and knew some of the people that worked at the courthouse. And a few of them, one lady in particular, when we were discussing it, she said that had explained. Apparently, there were a lot of paranormal experiences at the courthouse, electrical issues with lights flickering, shadow, a shadow, footsteps. But there had been paranormal experiences there at the courthouse for some years. But I have to wonder, given all of the unalivings that happened on the town square, you gotta wonder, was it this poor construction worker? I did, however, find an account of the architect being seriously injured uh, during the construction, a Mr. George Bunting. But again, the prosecutor read the actual accounts. It was from the Clinton County Historical Society. But there were a lot of occurrences on the town square. Um, there were at least 2 to 3 self unalivings that happened. There was a murder um, on the town square, apparently where a former drugstore um, used to set. And one man, when the bowling alley was on the town square, there was an accident, and he was hit on the head during a incident with one of the bowling machines. So you have to wonder. Although one time I was walking to go get my kids, and had a bad feeling and noticed lights flickering. There was also in the 1990s where a man was horribly unalived in an accident. So it makes you wonder, is it this individual that um, had passed during this construction accident, or is it when many of the spirits that occupy the town square that came to their untimely demise?